Well, hello, Mint. Hello, everyone. Like to welcome you guys, everyone to the meeting, Sante Organic Alliance. And today, we'll be talking about some great information that'll help us build our business and our camaraderie and our team spirit. And Mint is a transformation guide, trainer, leader, and a great friend, and just happy to be involved with her and what we do for life right now. So. Helps us recognize authenticities and multiplies our happiness and success. And she just has a different way of thinking and communicating with us, and it's very valuable, and I very much appreciate her. So, Mint, floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Timoteo. And I have to tell you, I feel the same. We were chatting offline for a moment, and I was telling him I'm visiting some friends here, and these people are such good friends. They've known me since I was 16 years old, and they still love me, even though I moved away when I was 21. They still welcome me and make me feel very comfortable in their home. But I realized that I've really taken a different course in my values and how I spend my time. And I realize how important it is for us to expand our circles of influence and meet new people, because I'm not the same person that I was when I was 16. But these are my same friends. And sometimes when you have friends for a long time, they don't really see how you change and develop. And they will still treat you like you're the person that you were at 16 years old. And I noticed my grandmother would do this. She would say, "Oh, you children." I was like, "We're not children. We're adults here. We're 30 and 40 years old." Saying, "Oh, you children," just not seeing us is in our changes. And I remember saying to a lady that I was doing a retreat with. I had known for quite some time, and I had changed, and it had been several years. And something happened, and I asked her. I said, "Could you please try to see me the way that I am now, and not the way that you think that I used to be?" And what I realized is I really wasn't saying that for her. I was saying that for me. Everything that I say goes into my ear, and I program my mind with my voice faster and more powerfully than the repetition of anybody else. So whatever we say to somebody else, we're hearing and we're programming ourselves with. And then I realized that was for me. Mint, can you see yourself the way that you are now and not the way that you think that you used to be? I've changed a lot. Every New Year's, I have another resolution, and over time, I've modified a lot of behaviors. So it might be difficult for people who have known us for a while to see us differently, because I've got the same hair, the same body, my face looks the same. How could I possibly be a different person? All these cells in my body are replaced. I don't have all the same cells. I've replaced them with high, dense nutrition. So even though my genetics say this is what my nose looks like, the cells inside of my body have evolved. So let's not be expectatious that other people have clear vision for themselves or for us. And, try not to go barking up the wrong tree. These friends that I have, they love me, but they're not interested in doing everything that I'm doing. Some of it might be influential, but other than that, they do what they do. So it's important for us to expand our circles of influence. It's more likely that the people that you're meeting now will be a better match, more harmonious in frequency and vibration, might have more commonalities or an essential value that is more of a bond than somebody that we may have known for quite some time. So take that in consideration, and hopefully that will be encouraging to keep just communicating with people. Somebody you're standing in line with, somebody on the other side of the counter who's, servicing us when we're doing business, people that I talk to on the phone for customer service. Believe me, I I make a connection with everybody, and whether or not we exchange information, I'm always of service and encouraging because I'm contributing to the betterment of society, and the universe is paying attention, and it will always match our energy. So there's a saying, if I take one step towards my goal, the universe brings it two steps closer to me. So everything has a greater value than what we realize. In keeping track of these people, I'm going to be honest with you. I have systems, and sometimes I use them and sometimes I don't. So one of my systems is that when I meet people, I exchange a text message. In the text message, I will say, "Hi, Timoteo. Nice to meet you at XYZ restaurant tonight. This is Mintarella at your service." That's my text message. And that way, when I go back into my text threads, they're not in my contacts. And I don't put people in my contacts when I meet them because I've got so many people in there, I wouldn't know who I met when I met them. It's not helpful. But a text thread tells me my times and dates and when they replied and when they didn't. So I literally will scroll through my text and see who's on there, who am I communicating with, and I keep a group in there. I will add them into my contacts after I've made communication. So let's just say if they give me their number and I reach out and I send this text message, if they don't reply, that's my answer. Maybe they gave me a bad number, maybe something happened, maybe I don't know. But I'm moving on. I'm looking for the warm markets and the people who are responding to me. I don't chase anybody. Another thing that I found works really well for me is an exercise that I call the 100 list. Now, this is important for a few reasons. Some people say this is the old way of network marketing. Make a list of 100 people and call them up constantly and bug them. That's not what I'm talking about here. This list of 100 is either people living or dead, doesn't matter, or they can be fictional characters, somebody from a book. But the point is that the list of 100 is people that you have gratitude for, an appreciation for, and there's something about them that really resonates with you. Either I like my new accent, is either somebody who's resonating with who I am now or who I want to be. So next to that list of 100, next to the name, you can write down a word or a phrase of why you see value in them. This is somebody who's really dedicated to their family. I love it. This is somebody who's dedicated to their health. This is somebody who does a lot of charity work. This is somebody who is really clear about who they are and they set their own boundaries. I don't like using that term, but they set their own standards, how they want to live, and nobody's going to influence them to dip below that. They're real clear. No, this is what I did. No, I don't do that. No, I don't drive at night. No, I don't, whatever. I like that they say no lovingly. When they tell me no, I know that it's honest, and I respect their no. And I want to do that. I want to say no to people and not feel guilty that I'm not accommodating them, and that they'll respect me for my honest decision. And sometimes I'll offer them an alternative. It's going to be a no for right now, but will you please invite me again another time? It might turn into a yes. So write down what it is about each one of those people, and then you can see who you are. Every one of those adjectives is telling you about yourself. I'm a person with integrity. I wrote down, I like that integrity about that person. So that's in myself, and I'd like to see that expressed more. Or we have that in common. So you can see who you are. And the reason that we do that is we want to know that we're a magnet that's going to attract these qualities whether it's people on this list or people that I haven't met yet. It's a calibration activity. Now, when we do this, centering, crossing the ankles and crossing this, and that's what I call the calibration activity. But there's a lot of methodologies that can help us calibrate. So this list is one. And then the last step in it is you've already got a built-in script. I'm working with a mentor right now, teacher, trainer, whatever you want to say. I'm working with somebody right now who gave me this exercise to do, write a 100 list of people that I value and write down why. And I'm calling you because I wanted you to know you're on my list. And I wanted to tell you why and thank you for that. That's a nice phone call. Nobody's going to really be upset with you for making that phone call. That should be a happy phone call to make. And from that connection, then we can have more conversations. What are you doing? How's your health? What are you doing for your health? What's your vision? Do you have some New Year's resolutions? How's it going? How are you going to reinforce that? Do you have an accountability partner? Do you want me to be your accountability partner? I'm not doing it with you because you're in Alaska and I'm in California, but we can keep tuning in with each other to kind of track where our progress is. So there's a lot of ways that the communication can develop from that one activity. Now, sometimes I just have it down on a piece of paper because I do like to handwrite. And I'll just use a highlighter and I have my codes. It's green, yellow, orange, red. Those are my 4 categories. And I'll just highlight according to the category, or sometimes I have a spreadsheet. I use an Excel spreadsheet, type everything in there. I've got columns, and here's my name, here's my reason, and here's the status. Why did I pick that it was red, yellow, green, orange, whatever? So let me break down my categories now. Green means obviously good to go. I like green. Green is happy. I learned from green. Green's good for me. I pick whatever color green I want. My color green is kind of minty. It's more pleasant for me to look at. So whatever I'm doing, I'm making it fun for me. I like highlighting. And if you don't want to pick red, yellow, red, yellow, green, orange, whatever, pick your favorite colors. What do you like? I like blue. I like pink. I like purple. Pick the colors that you like. And I'll finish up with my categories, and then I'm going to go back to why picking the colors that we like is helpful. The categories. Green is good to go. Either they're ordering, they ordered, or they're scheduled to order. It's looking good. Yellow, we're in conversation. They haven't placed an order yet, but we're in conversation. They're curious. They've asked some questions. They're going to look into it. They're going to check their finances. The conversation is active. Then there's orange. Okay, what's going on here? I'm not hearing from them as frequently. It's in and out. We've gone through the yellow phase. So we had the conversation. We exchanged some information. But there's not really the action here. It's not going into an order or whatever. And now they're on vacation. Or they're going to be traveling for a month. They said, catch me in 6 months. Whatever. I got it. I made a note of it. And then there's red. No, thank you. Red is a no. The phone number is bad, or they died, or they're near death, or they're on the track that's leading them in that direction. They're highly invested in their illness. And what I mean by that is going to the doctors is the hobby. Going to the pharmacist and chatting with the pharmacist is the hobby. So they're too invested in what they're doing, and they just don't have interest outside of that. They're literally brainwashed. There is not any curiosity there. Maybe they'll say, good for you. And I was like, that's a red. Got it. So that being said, why would somebody keep going to the pharmacist or keep going to the doctor, so on and so forth, when their body's getting more and more sick? There's something in it for them. Sometimes it's the community. I have something to do. The receptionist is really nice to me. Nobody in my family is nice to me. So I like going places where people are nice to me. My pharmacist is nice. The reception's nice. My doctor is nice. So I have 3 nice people every time I go in. That's a sad state of the world, but that is accurate for a lot of people. So why we do what we do and how the brain registers that and creates a pattern out of it. So every time we have a completion of something, we get another hit of dopamine. But we are not taught that that's what's happening. So for example, on social media, every time we swipe, whatever, there's another hit of dopamine. Nobody's taught us that that's what's happening. But if you're hitting dopamine every 3 minutes, you're an addict, 100% addict. So how do we jump track from being an addict to something that I don't even know I'm an addict to? And that means that we create habits and patterns intentionally to hit our dopamine. So when I select a color to go on that name, whether I'm highlighting it or it's on a spreadsheet, I'm getting a hit of dopamine because that's a completion. I've made a decision for today, for right now, and this is where it's at right now, completion. So, oh, it's gone from yellow. Oh, now it's green. Oh, a new, change my category, completion. Every time we do a little completion like that, we get another hit of dopamine. When I'm doing analysis about something, and I do a lot of research and analysis, and I'm invested. I can't get up. I need to complete something. This website can't time out on me, whatever. I'll decide as soon as I finish this task, I'm going to get up and step away from my computer. And I give myself legitimate reasons to do that. And that's my reward. That's my hit of dopamine, that I'm just not doing the non-preferred task. Anything. So going to the bathroom is preferred over staring at the computer, at a spreadsheet for me. A drink of water. Maybe I'll water my plants. Anything but the task that I don't want to do. So I keep getting my hits of dopamine, and I'll plan those, as much as possible. Maybe when I'm working, maybe every 15 minutes, I'll just do something different. Sometimes I don't even get up from my desk. I have a bunch of stuff in my drawer. When I say stuff, I mean my nutritionals. And I'll say, okay, this is my break. Get a fresh glass of water. And then I'm going to put in my salts, or I'll do some greens or something like that. And so that's my reward. I have dopamine. I got another hit. I feel a little better. How many times can you tell yourself, this is my reward? Because it works. I'm doing this for me. This is my reward. Interestingly enough, but we were talking about this product line is so amazing. It's really what the body needs. The reds and greens are so densely nutritious that it could actually be a meal because of how much nutrition is in there. Calories come from me. I'm storing them. I've got plenty. I'm not going to show you where, but trust me, it's there. So I just tap on those calories, and it looks like I've skipped a meal, but I really didn't. I've got my nutrition, and I kept myself on time. I didn't let my blood sugar dip, too low. When I'm not fasting, I'm just skipping meals because I'm too busy. So make it all fit in, deciding that this is good for me, this is what I'm doing, and this is why I'm doing it. And then every non-preferred task is doable. Finding ways to trick the mind into saying, this is why I'm doing it. So our why. Well, the reason that I do that day job is because I like all the money and benefits that I get from it. I get a lot of money and benefits from it. So even though I may not like any tasking associated with that, I like the paycheck. And that's why people go to work 9 to 5 or whatever, their thing is. The reason that I do it is more important than the reason that I don't. So people go to a job they hate all the time because the reason they do it is more important. So if we're not managing our business, then somewhere in our minds, we decided that it's just not as important as something else. We all have time management issues. Everybody. We all have to do it. The trick is society says that you're so busy doing everything that you need to do to, navigate society. There's no time to take care of yourself. You don't have 2 minutes to do a calibration activity because you need 20 minutes to do something and you have 5. This time is an illusion anyway. I'm not going to go into that, but we make it up in our mind. If you're having a good time, time goes faster. You're having a bad time, it seems to go slower. So time's an illusion anyway, but also I've experienced a lot of phenomenal things about how time can be compressed and how cooperation with non-physical energy can seem to put things into alignment for us to make it easier and more efficient. So plan your dopamine hits, make sure that you know that you are getting them in a healthy, intentional way. And create systems for yourself. Make up something for yourself where you're going to do what you need to do. So I share every moment possible. I have multiple jobs that I'm doing. Some monopolize lots of hours of my time. And what I said is, I don't have a set schedule on when I do business. I do business all day, every day, in the minutes in between whatever else I'm doing. I call it borrowing minutes. So sometimes when I'm at the office and I need to take a phone call, I said, okay, let me excuse myself to use the restroom. And then while I'm walking there, I'm starting my phone call. And the restroom is actually a pretty quiet place for me to have a phone call and take those 15 minutes. You'll find a way. Sometimes it's 5. I talk a lot, so it's usually 15. But we'll find ways of doing things. Borrow minutes here and there. But if you're not borrowing minutes here and there like I am, and you don't have a set schedule, then the reason is not important enough. You have to know that the world is in a critical state and we are needed. Our presence and our being vocal and communicating and educating, it's required of us. It's not going to be a fun world if there's nobody to hang out with. So my Asante family are the people that I'm closest with in my life right now, because we're sharing a deep heart's passion to help ourselves and others. And this is a movement. It's a mission. So know what your mission is, know what your movement is. We're doing this because there is no alternative. I don't call continuing to watch everything go down the drain an alternative. I can't do that. That's not an alternative for me. And if I've ever, all the research that I've done, so many products, so many companies, what a relief to find something so highly credentialed, tested, verified, that is exactly what the body needs. And it's really simple. For a lot of people, it turns around super, super fast. Some people are talking about a lump shrinking in less than a week. That's pretty amazing. So we're literally saving lives. Literally. So the reason why we wouldn't do it is not, I don't think there is one for me. So if you're not doing it, that's something that's in the mind. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough resources. Something else is more important. I don't feel that way. So overcoming our mental obstacles it's the first and foremost part of business. So I know Timoteo had an experience that he wanted to share. He was talking about this with me earlier about overcoming an experience. So without giving it away, Timoteo, would you please share that story that we were talking about earlier?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, overcoming obstacles, whatever that obstacle is. Um, pertaining to the business, I think obstacles are just processes that you have to overcome, and they're learning blocks and skills, assets that you develop and you have to go through. So, what it got me thinking, like at work, I just had this conversation with some people at work. It's when first became a manager with the company that I've been with for over 25 years now, same company. I was noticing these other managers like complaining about what they didn't like about their job. And I knew since I was new, I would have to go through these things. So I just learned and identified what it is that they didn't like. And I just added it to myself and went through the experience before I had to. So because I didn't have to, it wasn't forced upon me. So therefore, I think that's one reason why I didn't mind it whenever it became mine, area of responsibility or something that I had to go through. So with all these other managers, and I had a managers, my team was, I think it was like 13 or 15 at the time. It usually stays around that average because we're so big of a restaurant. So I learned all these things ahead of time, and then I just embraced whatever it was and learned to like it. And some things bothered me, some things didn't. But then the things that bothered me, I looked at it as I get paid a lot of money to wipe bird poop off rail handles, scrub toilets, um, wash dishes, um, jump on dumpsters to squash the trash down because they didn't come out and empty out the trash for some reason. Go sweep this, scrub that, wipe that. And then also I was an over glorified babysitter, brothers, cousin, dad, well, you name it, to these people, servers who worked with me, that they just needed somebody to lean on or something to listen to or whatever they were complaining about. And I just gave them a different perspective of what it is and why they're doing whatever it is that they're doing. So I think the obstacle, like you mentioned already, meant is the why. Why are you doing whatever it is? And if your why, you you said you go to the job like I do to collect that paycheck with the benefits, and we do it so well we can sleepwalk during that because we've been skilled and invested in time. I've already done my time, so I know how to facilitate and operate everything. So nothing can phase me. Everything goes slow, no matter how busy it gets. When we feed like 1,100 people a day on the weekends or 1,200, that's busy. And I can, it just goes so slow because I've seen it all. So with the business, it may seem so slow because you haven't gone through all the obstacles, you haven't set out all the tasks, and you're not fully committed and divested into doing the do, which it can be a buzzword, but it's a thing. You just got to do it. And if you don't do it, then you're prohibiting and prolonging your achievements or success. And I think if you break those things down, like Mint said, and get your little dopamine hits and create success with whatever it is you do. The success could be 5 people. The success could be I'm just gonna do whatever I do today. It has to do with the business. That's a success. But you have to keep moving the needle forward and going through these things so that you can become better at it because you're going to reach out to somebody and they're going to come to you asking you questions saying, yes, I want to do that. I want to do this. And then they're going to come to you for guidance. And then you haven't gone through all the things that you needed to do to help them, right? And of course, we're here to help you. But they're looking at you because you brought them in, and you have a strong connection between you two before me because you're the one that invited them to this great organization and thing that this life experience, right? So um, that's all I have to say as far as
That's good. That's so good. Wiping bird poop off of railings.
I gotta pay somebody to do it. I'll do
Yeah,
it.
it well, it made me laugh. I was just thinking there was a time in my life that I had a bunch of clients leave the country. They moved away, and this was my income. I was like, what am I going to do now? Like all of a sudden, this just happens. There's no job security with it, and I found myself having to, my girlfriend says, "Listen, you're depressed. Get out of the house. Go get a job doing something, anything, even if it's cleaning toilets for $1." So I said, yeah, I know, I gotta do something. So I got myself up and I got out of the house and I saw my favorite restaurant and I was like, oh, I'll go look after I have lunch. So I stopped at my favorite restaurant and they're having a job fair. I was like, wow, that's kind of serendipitous. And, they hired me on management. And I was in the same situation. This lady was showing me how the toilets needed to be cleaned and all this other stuff. And I was like, wow, management, toilet cleaning, that sounds like janitorial, really? So here I am, like my ego is like, I'm a toilet cleaner. And I told one of my friends, an older lady that I very much respect, I said, I'm cleaning toilets now. Could you believe it? And she said, oh, good. I said, what? I said, I'm cleaning toilets. She says, oh, I know, that's good because I like going places where the restrooms are clean. And if you're cleaning them, then they'll be done right. That'll be good for business. Wow. Blew my mind. Every single time I clean a toilet, which I don't work at that job anymore, but every time I clean a toilet, I think about that lady knowing that I would be the one to do it right. Whether it was a preferred task or a non-preferred task, it became something that I enjoyed doing because I had an association that somebody said that this is valuable, somebody that likes me. Anyway, I tricked my mind into deciding that this isn't gross. It's cool that I'm the one doing this. So thank you for that analogy, like bird poop. And sometimes create a mental construct to make it preferred. Now I'm gonna tap into something really personal, and then I know we got to wrap this up today. So I am successfully divorced, and it was a rough process. And because we have children, when this man would call me, I felt compelled to answer the phone, and it usually wasn't a pleasant conversation. So I set my ringtone for the most annoying sound that I could find. So I always knew it was him calling. I was like, oh, I know who that is. So what I realized is that ringtone is so annoying. Even if it wasn't an unpleasant conversation, I was already annoyed by the time I answered. So I noticed that and I switched it to my favorite ringtone. Only he had my favorite ringtone. And I like it so much that I let it ring a while just to hear that song or whatever it is that was the thing. And then I was in a good mood when I answered, and I'd say, hello, instead of, what do you want? So we have to build the construct that helps us to move forward with whatever we need to do. So take a look at your business. Some people are really great at reaching out and with new leads, and they have a hard time closing. Other people are great closers. Just bring me your leads and I will help close them for you. So wherever you're finding the holes in your program from start to finish, maybe your issue is not closing. Maybe you're a great closer, but you just don't nurture your people who are your customers and your business partners. So look at yourself without judgment and just notice not asking for any judgment because I'm not a fan. But we can notice and observe and just decide, well, that could be better. I could do a little better on that. And just be nice to yourself. Just decide something. Oh, you know what? I could do a little better at answering phone calls. So my one of the sayings that I have is I'm a lot better at answering the phone than dialing it. And it's not that I'm proud of this. I just noticed myself and I cut myself a little bit of slack and I'm communicating to somebody, please reach out to me. So we said that we're going to meet at 3:00. We're going to have a call at 3:00. Will you please call me ? If they say yes, then I reply, thank you. I'm better at answering the phone than dialing it. I'll be waiting for your call. And sometimes I was like, 4:00, they're not calling. What's up? 4:05, I'm calling them. So I do know how to dial the phone, but I am better at answering it. So observe yourself, set yourself up for success as much as possible, and reach out to Timoteo, myself, or somebody on your team. Give a little reflection back and forth on how it's going. If you need some methodologies, those that we've mentioned aren't resonating with you, let's talk about your situation and we can come up with some. This is what I'm good at. We're just design systems. It's fun, especially when you know that systems work when you work them. Thank you to everybody for tuning in during the week and watching the replays. And I know some people are watching the replays again and again and again and again. So thank you very much for the encouragement. Saturdays are really a difficult time for a lot of people. That's why sometimes you'll just see the two of us, on these recordings. Sometimes there's more people, but we hear through the week that these are important and you're asking for them. So we keep doing them no matter what. I want to thank Timoteo for his consistency and dedication. And I know he was having some personal things happening this morning, and he just managed himself and showed up anyway. So thank you very much for that. And that's it for me for today. I appreciate you, and I love this wonderful community. And you're watching, know that I love you.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.